Hey guys, welcome back. This is Don't Watch at Night, a spooky little podcast dedicated to Latin American and Spanish language horror. I'm your host, Valerie, and Veronica and I are still out on holiday break, but we want to wish you a wonderful Christmas as this is posting in the middle of Christmas week. If you celebrate, if not, happy holidays. For today, what we're bringing you is a visit from the ghosts of our Christmases past. We're taking a look at some awesome episodes from Decembers of yore on this show. And one of the things that we're going to be doing is also bringing you some little snippets from what only our Patreon crew, our Patreon fam gets. So we're treating this kind of like a book club episode in that we're going to have an episode cocktail today. So what you're about to hear from is me on a creepy cocktail hour. I cannot tell you which one, but it's the one, guys, where I made, if Patreon friends who are listening, it's the one where I made my favorite drink, an espresso-based old fashioned. That's the featured cocktail for today's episode. And it's a great cocktail for any time of year. But sure, hell yeah, you can call it a seasonal cocktail. You can call it a Christmassy one. Go for it. We hope you enjoy, but do know that these movies that we're going to be discussing, there will be spoilers. If you haven't seen the movies that we'll be talking about on today's episode, take a look in show notes real quick and just listen at your own discretion. So here's me telling you all about espresso-based old fashioned. Enjoy. I will say one of the reasons why we decided to focus on Latin American horror, Spanish language horror, is because the Latinx community is big when it comes to putting butts in seats at the box office, right? So we support the industry in a lot of ways monetarily when it comes to Hollywood television and film, even as we are statistically not so abundantly represented on screen. And so there's all kinds of studies and reporting that has come out revealing that and talking about that. We try to find ways to bring that into the conversation whenever we can, whenever we come across something really great that we want to share with you guys, we make sure to do that. But yeah, that's us. So let's get to cocktail. Today, we are doing old fashions, but we're doing it the way that we do it in our household. So a staple in our household is the espresso old fashioned. We might make this on a Friday. If it's not this, then it might be something called the Fitzgerald, which I can't remember if I've made that on this show or not, but it's a classic too. So how this came to be was that there was a place here, Austin area where I'm located, called Vox a couple years ago. They have since left us. Very sad. But my spouse and I would go there periodically, and they had a drink there called Tom Selleck's Mustache. That was the name of the cocktail. As best as we could piece together, it was essentially this. It was an espresso old fashioned. They would use a smoke infused whiskey. And we've tried that a number of times, never really got that knack for how to properly smoke a cocktail. If you are somebody who is well versed in that, please share your tips and tricks because we're always looking for ways to get better at that. But yeah, they would do a smoke infused whiskey, some sort of a coffee liqueur, which I could never figure out what it was, and therefore I could never source it. And then, all the regular trappings of an old fashioned. So, what we do here in our household, you can do this with a coffee liqueur. And if you certainly want to boost your drink a little bit, that's what you would do. What we do is we do 2 ounces of bourbon, and we typically go for 4 roses. Elijah Craig is also a really good bourbon specifically for mixing cocktails. It's not going to break the bank. You're not going to be sad that you're putting your super nice whiskey into a mixed drink. So that's a good staple. But this is 4 roses. I've also already beforehand added my Angostura bitters and some chocolate bitters. The chocolate bitters really make this drink. So I've already added that to the bourbon because Angostura bitters. Sorry, guys. Angostura bitters is messy and the bitters can stain. So we don't want to do that. It's always something in Creepy Cocktail Hour. If I'm not spilling a drink, then I'm knocking my microphone. We also have a shot of espresso. So you could either, if you're not doing a shot of espresso, you could do a shot of coffee liqueur. But this is just straight espresso. And I'm doing 1/2 ounce of simple syrup. Okay. So I've got the bourbon, the simple syrup, the bitters, the shot of espresso. Okay. And I'm going to put this in my shaker and shake it. I'm here in my office, and so hopefully I don't make a huge mess. Hang on. than enough. And I'm going to open this up. I have ice sitting in my glass already. I'm going to pour that right over. That looks good. This is, it's one of our favorites. It's our favorite way to do an old fashioned. And you could garnish with a fresh orange peel. I don't have that. I have a dehydrated orange peel. So I'm just going to stick that in there. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. So that's what I'm drinking. If you're partaking of something, please weigh in and let me know. Cheers. Happy Friday, everybody. It's delicious. It's perfect. It's perfect. This is it's a great Friday cocktail. It's a great after dinner cocktail. I wish I could be so fancy that I'm somebody who regularly has dinner parties. I'm not, but if you are, or if you want to be, and you want to impress your people, then serve this as like an after dinner beverage, because the chocolate and the simple syrup obviously adds sweetness. And so it just almost feels like a dessert. It feels like a coffee dessert drink. It's so good. Perfect. Perfect. I've now introduced you to one of my favorite drinks of all time. Okay, so in this first movie clip that we're going to be talking about, this was from episode 12. So this was our first year of podcasting. Episode 12, second episode of December of that month. It came out on Christmas morn. This was back when Veronica and I were trying to come up with different titles for our episodes. Now it's just the name of the film. Boom, easy, done. So this one was called A Very Satanic Hispanics Christmas. And it's where we talked about 2023's horror anthology, Satanic Hispanics. It came from a lineup of 5 Mexican filmmakers, including Mike Mendez, Alejandro Brugas, Gigi Salguero, Eduardo Sanchez, and Demian Rugna. One of my dear friends, Pete Barnstrom, worked on one of the shorts featured in this anthology. He's a writer. So here, you're going to hear us talk about the chapter of the film that was directed by Demian Rugna, because this was Veronica's and my first entry into Rugna territory. He's a wonderful director. He's done a number of truly terrifying, disturbing horror movies, and we have gone back and visited his work in subsequent episodes. So there's newer episodes since this first one where we have done Rugna movies. His movies are truly works that I would classify as don't watch at night movies, although I always have to because I co-host this podcast. So here is our clip from our episode dedicated to 2023's Satanic Hispanics.
I knew nothing about this movie. In fact, up until the last podcast when you mentioned that it was an anthology, I didn't even know it was an anthology. And then I was kind of a little bit worried because I typically, for the same reason I don't like literary collections of short stories, I typically don't like anthologies just because the stories are so short that I always feel like I don't really have time to connect with the characters. And I'm usually left, like the stories never feel complete, which is not a bad thing if it leaves you wanting more. So I went into this kind of a little bit worried, but I had no expectations. So I can report that I liked it. I enjoyed it. Honest truth. Some segments I liked better than others. And we can, maybe talk later about what our individual, if we have a favorite or which one we enjoyed the most. But I liked it. And I liked the way there was kind of a story that was kind of the connective tissue between the different, how many segments were there? 4?
So there's
5?
because there's the main story, but then there's 4 different stories woven through it.
I liked that there was that main connective story that's kind of leading you into the other segments. And I liked that it was kind of it was a mixture of tone to it.
Yeah.
There'd be a dark one, and then there'd be kind of a goofy, fun one, and then another kind of dark one. And then, so they kind of mixed it up. So it wasn't tonally the same all throughout. So I thought that was nice.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. I thought all the actors did really well. I can't say there was anybody in there that felt like they didn't quite fit talent-wise. I thought they I thought they all did great.
Yeah.
So I was very surprised. So I'm glad that I'm going out on a high note with this.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I had a freaking blast. I thought it was hilarious. I thought on the whole, it's a fun collection of films, like you said, that for the most part, work together really, really well. So, I like them all. And yeah, we can talk about ones in particular that we liked. Having not seen Napoleon Dynamite and having not seen any of his other work, this was my first time to see Efren Ramirez, and I thought he did a really great job as sort of the narrator, kind of guiding us through this anthology. And so, some of his scenes with Greg Grunberg's character, because Greg Grunberg plays like a detective, interrogating him in the questioning room. Some of their scenes were just like provided some of the funniest moments to me because they just thought they worked so well off of each other.
Let's talk about that main connective story first, the traveler, and then we can hit the individual segments and kind of give our thoughts on.
Yes, because there is a line I want to make sure. So where the film opens, like it says in the blurb I said, the film opens where it's like you've got all of these law enforcement officials entering what looks like a warehouse or some kind of abandoned building. It's like all bathed in dark. There's no lights. And so they're finding the bodies of all of these people that are all Latino people, and they've all been murdered. And then I think there's like one part where it's like one of the law enforcement people says,
this is set in El Paso, by the way.
It starts in El Paso.
The main story.
When the film opens, you've got that going on. And one of the officers goes, "We're going to need more body bags." And I thought that was such a great, that's we're going to need a bigger boat line of 2023. After that, that's when we meet the traveler.
So the massacre of all these Latin people who apparently were undocumented or didn't have any sort of verifying paperwork there. The traveler lets us know that this particular event wasn't some sort of like supernatural thing. It was just, what did he say? It was a cartel, some sort of cartel business.
Like cartel stuff. Yeah, that went sour.
But he's chained up, so he attempts to chop off his own hand to get away. He's just that desperate to get away. They sit him down at the police station. His hand is wrapped up, and we've got Grunberg as one of the detectives, and then another, what's that actress's name? The other,
I didn't catch it. I didn't get
detective. But they're interviewing him, and so slowly he kind of starts peeling back the story of who he is. In fact, we don't find out like really his backstory until like almost the very end of the movie. But there's another police officer that interrupts the interrogation at some point and kind of shows all these pictures of this man and previous names that he's gone under, but they're spread out over time. And of course, his appearance doesn't change. He doesn't age. So there's that mystery of, well, exactly who is he? They empty his belongings on the table. And so they're kind of picking out these different items from his belongings. And each item is what kind of leads into the stories, the different segments of the anthology that we get. There's like a bullet, there's a vial of blood,
a finger,
which that would have been as a policeman, that would have been the first thing I picked up to say, what is this?
Let's talk about the finger for a minute.
Yes, but it was just, I thought that was just done really well. And of course, we come to find out that he is, what was he, like 500 and something?
He's, 590,
590 something years old. He is originally from the actual Aztec
that's right. Yeah.
Of Tenochtitlan. He keeps telling the police early on that he has, they have 90 minutes to let him go or else they're all going to be dead. Come to find out that he's pretty much been on the run or trying to stay one step ahead of San La Muerte, who is the figure out of Colombian mythology. He says that he's somebody that you go to when you need a favor. And back when he was living his original life in Tenochtitlan, his wife and child were kind of slated or selected for sacrifice. And so he went to San La Muerte and, made a deal, my life for theirs. Then, of course, when the time came, apparently he chickened out and he went on the lam. He's been running from San La Muerte ever since. I want to know what happened then. If he reneged on his end of the deal, what happened to his wife and child? But they don't ever say. But yeah, so that's why he's just always, which must be, I thought that must just be an exhausting life, because he said he's usually just like 12 hours ahead.
Yeah. He's like, I'm never more than like 12 hours ahead of San La Muerte.
Must be an exhausting life. I'd be ready to die. I'd be like, hey, I'm over here, San La Muerte, come get me. And
then so from there, he kind of takes us into, which I don't even remember. Like as we're moving through all these movies, I don't even remember what some of his segues are that leads us into these stories. So I don't even know how we get to the first short film.
They show him a picture. They're showing him pictures, and he, asking him, do you know any of these things? He's like, no, I don't know these people. I just met them 4 hours ago and then he sees one picture and he goes, wait, I might know this one, but I don't know if I met him before or after he died. And so that picture of whoever is the guy from the first segment, the Rubik's Cube dude.
So then we get into the first segment, which is called También lo vi, which I guess means like I saw it too, or I also saw it.
I saw him too.
I saw him too.
Yeah.
So yeah, we get into our first first of our, I keep wanting to say short films. I guess we wouldn't call, I don't know what we would call them. The first of the
Segment.
chapters. Yes, the first of the chapters.
First chapter.
So what did you think of that one? What did you think? So this one is the one by, I don't know who directed what. I want to say this one is Demian Rugna, but I don't know for sure. So maybe I should not say. But anyway, what did you think of that one?
It was not the first jump scare.
Yes.
For me, because it was going along, and I actually kind of forgot for a minute that it was supposed to be horror-y, and so I wasn't, because he's this Rubik's Cube savant dude FaceTiming with his sister, just trying to talk him into going to Japan for, I guess, a Rubik's Cube competition. And so it's just kind of normal talk. Well, there was that one beginning where he's doing some kind of weird thing with his phone, and he's trying to show the pizza boy, do you see it? Do you see it? And he doesn't see anything.
And I didn't see it, and I was like, what is it? I don't see it.
We as the audience don't see anything, but he's just doing this weird pattern with his flashlight on his phone.
Flashlight on his phone, yeah.
And then just kind of goes into he's making his dinner, he's talking with his sister, and then he starts getting a whiff of something unpleasant, and he's kind of sniffing around, looking, and looks under the table, and there's just, I don't even know how to describe what was under there.
Like half of a corpse, I don't even know.
Contorted. Yeah. I jumped and kind of gave out a little cry because I would kind of been lured into not expecting anything.
And that's really like you said, it's the first legit jump scare of the film, and you're not really expecting it, obviously. And then what I kind of made note of that really struck me is this is also where we get the first taste of how at least some of the humor is going to play out in this film. Moments that I would call absurd, and so the absurdity of the moment is what's funny. So in that scene where he sees this corpse under his table, he runs out of the room, he flees, and then he slowly works his way back into the room, and then he throws a blanket over it. That'll do it. He throws a blanket over it and then takes a phone call. And so just in that moment, that kind of made me crack up a little bit, because it's just that's such a funny.
I'd been out the door. In fact, I wrote that down. I wrote that down. Run.
It's just the idea that he's I'm gonna throw this blanket over it. It's okay now. And I better get this phone call. Nothing more important right now than taking this phone call. Yeah, I thought that broke up the tension really well, and kind of you got the sense of what kind of humor or what kind of level of humor we were going to be playing with. Mm-hmm. I had some questions coming out of this one. I'm not sure.
So did I.
Okay.
But so before this jump scare, before he sees that whatever thing under his table, he had called over, I guess, a man that does a podcast.
Yes.
To come over, and he's trying to show him, he's doing his little thing with his flashlight on his phone and saying, do you see it? And do you see it? And the podcast dude seems like he sees something, but he doesn't say anything. He just kind of makes a beeline for the door and he leaves. And so the guy, which I don't know, did we ever get his name?
Gustavo. Yeah.
He's kind of okay, whatever. And he doesn't know why the guy left, because he doesn't say anything, and he's apparently been trying to call him and leaving him messages just to kind of say, hey, what happened. After the jump scare, he shows up. The podcast dude shows up at the house again. As it turns out, what he saw when he had been there earlier was his mother. And so as soon as he saw her, he said that he left because his mother was in a nursing home. He went to the nursing home and found out that his mother had died. So how did he see his mother, who had died at the nursing home, in Gustavo's home? This is what really kind of grossed me out, when he goes and he looks under the blanket, because that thing is still moving.
Yeah.
So it's not dead.
It's not gone anywhere.
It's still moving. He uncovers it, and then he hugs it and starts crying because it's his mother.
He's talking to it like it's his mother. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's apologizing to his mother, I guess, for not having left her alone too long or whatever. I was don't touch it. Don't touch it.
When it doesn't do anything either, I was it's going to attack you, but then it just accepts the hug. I don't know.
Well, it didn't have arms, I don't think. And then, of course, Gustavo, I guess, he's telling him, dude, that's not your mother anymore, at least. And so he starts doing that light pattern thing, which
we come to learn is so we come to learn.
It's kind of like the algorithm for solving the Rubik's Cube.
Yeah, he sees patterns and everything. Mm-hmm. And so he, through doing this, and I don't know what compelled him to even try it in the first place, but somehow in doing this, he opens a portal. Then he's doing that in the dining area while the podcaster's hugging the corpse. And then there's there's an explosion of blood, and the podcaster's gone. I guess the podcaster got obliterated or something. I'm not sure what happened, or maybe got sucked into the portal with the corpse. and the podcaster are both gone now, and it's just a bloodbath in the dining room. So I interpreted that as like he got sucked into whatever portal that thing came from. At that point, Gustavo gets really freaked out. He runs out of the house and gets a call from his sister. And this is where I get confused because the sister is saying that corpse thing that he had sent her pictures of, she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. That's you.
Yeah.
And so I that's where I got confused. And then where the film ends is
he
like
sees himself. Like he by this point he has run out of the house, or he's left the house. He's looking at it from, I guess, the street, and he sees himself bloodied inside the house.
Yeah.
And
looking more sinister than before. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, what? I don't understand. Like, yeah, I didn't get it, but
And
I thought
then
it was cool.
And then it ends where he's back in the hall, like back in the first scene of that segment where he's with the pizza guy trying to show him the pattern. So I don't know, did any of that happen? Was it all
Oh, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that.
Was it in his head? Did he I don't know what happened.
Yeah, but it
was interesting, but I'm not sure what happened.
Okay, so now we're going to jump around a little bit. We're going to jump out of order because we're going to save the best for last. In December of 2024, so last year, it happened to be a Step Outside Spanish language month for Veronica and I. And generally those months we dedicate to, it can either be an English film or it can be another foreign language film, but it's just something outside the Spanish language. For this particular December last year, that was really us sort of saying, hey, let's see if we can kind of pick Christmassy horror. This is a series of clips from our episode where we watched 2023's There's Something in the Barn. This was a Norwegian horror comedy, kind of a dark comedy, directed by Magnus Martins and starring Martin Starr, Amrita Acharya, Kiran Shah, Towns Bunner, Zoe Winter Hansen, and Callie Helvang Larsen, and Henriette Steenstrup. Not necessarily one of Veronica's or my favorites. It was an easy enough watch, and it would probably be a pretty easy rewatch. Definitely not as ha-ha funny as I think she and I were hoping for, but very interesting film. Love the Norwegian folklore elements, and I talk all about it in the clips that we're about to play for you. So take a look. It's a fish out of water story with these Americans who just show up in this little community in Norway and are bound and determined to make, the father is bound and determined to make it work, but it's just this bumbling fool who doesn't know what he's doing. And so
I hated him. Like, he's just totally useless, like totally useless. He doesn't parent his children. He's always wearing that stupid hat.
It's a stupid winter hat that has Norway plastered all over it.
And I spent the whole movie, I was like, why is this woman married to him?
She's quite lovely, and then she's with this bumbling fool.
I know one of the reviews also likened him to Clark Griswold, and I'm like, no. Clark Griswold is also a bumbling idiot, but he has some charm and some warmth, and Chevy Chase is funny. Well, and I know they were kind of going for that because I think they even kind of mirrored one of his scenes where he's doing the dramatic plugging in of his Christmas decor outside. Whatever his name was, I don't even remember. He ain't no Clark Griswold.
Bill in the movie,
Bill.
Yeah. What was I going to say? Like, the difference between Clark Griswold and Bill is Clark Griswold he's a tryhard. I mean, he is extra, and he's always going above and beyond in his quest for the perfect Christmas and these perfect, family memories that he wants to make. And Bill is just sort of like, well, I guess I'm going to go chop wood, even though he's probably never picked up an axe in his life. And it's just like very obvious that this is a dude who has no freaking clue. Whereas like Clark at least has this model vision in his mind of how it should be, because he bases it off of all of the perfect Christmases, or what he perceives to be perfect Christmases of years past. Yeah, this guy he's just a fool.
Even when he's chopping that wood and he gives up because he can't do it, and he comes out the next morning and it's all chopped and stacked for him, he's like, oh, I must be losing my mind. I mean, really, dude?
When he goes outside to clear this, he goes outside to clear the snow, and it's been cleared for him. And he's like, look, son, that's social democracy at work. I'm like, did you familiarize?
And that dumb hat, the first time he showed up without his hat, his woolen cap, I almost thought it was I didn't even recognize him. I thought, well, who's this dude walking into the barn?
So a lot of this film was shot in Edinburgh, Norway, which is like what do you think of that? It's beautiful.
And the house, like, I don't know what the teenage daughter was talking about. I would kill to live in that
I
house.
know.
Not in Norway, and I know Norway is probably gorgeous. I can't handle cold.
Yeah. I mean, this is the
Like
reality.
anything below 50, and I'm like, I can't deal with this
This
cold.
yeah, like the entire time I was watching it, I was thinking, God, this is gorgeous, and I would love this for like a little while.
Hmm.
If I had to live there long term, I would just give up and die. I would just lay down, and
Yes.
I've said this before. When I've gone, so I married a Midwesterner, everyone, and he comes from like northern United States, and so when he proposed up north, and we were vacationing with his family, and or we were on vacation visiting his family, and so that was really my first foray into snow. And yeah, I really wanted to rally. I really wanted to demonstrate that, yeah, I can hang. And I did. I got through it. But many years later, many years of marriage later, it's not for me. It's just like, no, I would rather just lay down and wait for the good Lord to come and take me. But yeah, beautiful, beautiful scenery. The elf played by Kiran Shah, if I'm saying that name correctly. You are familiar. Have you had a chance to look at his filmography, Ron?
Yeah, he's done a lot of like Star Wars stuff
Lord of the
and
Rings
Lord of the Rings. Yeah,
stunt work.
Hobbits. Probably
Yeah.
stand-ins, doubles for the Hobbit.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool. He's done a lot of stuff. I was looking at his body of work, and he's done a lot. This is a weird one because I told Ronnie I'm not working off notes. I don't know how detailed Ron's notes are. So I don't know that we're necessarily going to take it scene by scene, but we can certainly talk about general ideas that we had as we watched the film. I know that we opened the film on not Martin Starr, another man. This is, I guess, somebody he's related to,
His
who's living,
uncle.
who's living at that farm in Norway, and he seems to be he's talking to himself. He's bound and determined to destroy the barn. It seems like first he tries to like tie a chain to his tractor, thinking I guess he's gonna, or maybe it's
Pull
a
it
snowplow,
down.
I don't know, destroy the barn. And then he's like, well, that's not gonna work. So he starts trying to douse the place in gasoline because he's gonna light it on fire. In the process, he goes upstairs in the barn. He gets plowed into by a lit tire hanging from a rope, and this is actually kind of a, I guess, like kind of a horrifying scene to open your comedy movie on, because he gets lit on fire, and so he burns to death, and so you see him running through the snow just completely ablaze. That's where we open on the movie, and then from there it takes us to this American family who's now driving through this beautiful countryside en route to the farm that he has now inherited because his uncle obviously died.
It's a year later, because that first scene obviously was taking place at night, so it was dark, and now it's all bright and sunny, snow-covered landscape, and the American family is driving in their car, their Christmas Carol sleigh ride that's overplaying everything, and they're on their way. They arrive at the house. We get the exposition from the dad that he's inherited this from his uncle, and their plan is they've uprooted their lives from America. They're going to come over to Norway. Their plan is to turn the barn into an Airbnb that they can rent out.
Some
And
sort of bed and breakfast. And yeah.
at first I was like, this wife, this mother, she's not old enough to have kids this old. And come to find out, she's the second wife. His first wife passed away like 4 or 5 years ago. He met her at some kind of retreat, so she's kind of one of those life coach type people.
Yeah.
So they arrive at the house, which is lovely, despite what the teenage daughter says.
Yeah, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
I can understand. She's 16. She's been forced to leave all her friends, her high school life in America behind. And so I can understand that she's a little
Freaking out.
PO'd.
Yeah,
She's a little
yeah.
PO'd about it.
But I know for my part, it would be a lovely getaway. Yeah, and so they don't know anybody, obviously, and they're at this point in the movie, Bill and Carol. Carol is the wife's name?
Yes.
Yes. Bill and Carol are positive and determined to insert themselves into this community. Oh, like, we're glossing over. This was, I guess, a funny moment, if not highlighting the ways in which Americans are complete bumbling idiots whenever we go anywhere. On the way to the to their farm, they see a moose sign crossing and they're like, oh, we're going to take our photo in front of this. This will be great for Christmas cards. And then an actual moose is crossing. Bill is like, oh my God, I'm going to go pet him. I'm like, the minute he did that, I just was like, why? Like, what kind of idiot are you walking up to this huge animal? He's like, hey, little guy. I'm like, what is little about this giant moose, sir? That whole incident is the first time where they meet the sheriff of the town that they live in. And so she's just like, yeah, don't go mess with moose. That's just a not great idea. Anyway, have fun getting to your farm. Don't drink and drive.
That scene was actually my first inkling that this movie wasn't going to land well with me. I was like, oh dear. And I got an hour and 30 minutes left.
What about it just sort of didn't land for you?
Just the dad, the husband, Bill. Bill didn't work for me. I just pretty much...
You're like, this guy's going to be an annoying character. Yeah, so they get to the farm. From there, they try to take a walk through this new community and get to know the area. And again, and maybe, like, I can see what you mean by Hallmark elements.
When they first arrive, they kind of walk through the barn, which...
That's right.
This is when the son, Lucas, is the youngest of the two children, catches things are moving in the barn. And I can't remember if he actually caught sight of like a little...
I don't know. Like little glowy eyes. We do see those later. But
so he knows there's something in the barn. Because when they are in the town the next day, he goes into like some kind of like little museum where he meets a gentleman
whose name... That's Cal... He's a comedian. What is his name in the movie, though? What's his character name? Tor. Okay. Yeah. I want you to take us through like what he says here in a second. But before that, I do want to just point out one thing that, again, playing on these American tropes, this American family walks into what looks to be like a diner, a little cafe or whatever. And just right off the bat, just obnoxiously coming in, hey, how you like determined to insert themselves in conversation with their obnoxious greetings and kind of forcing people to have to interact with them, which
I would never do.
I would never do. And I hate it. I don't mean to make it sound like I'm an unfriendly person. I'm very approachable, but I'm never going to be the person who demands that you pay attention to me and talk to me. I'm never like, I'm not a person who is going to say, hi, how you doing? Walking down the street and should I pass you? I might give you a polite smile, but that's it. That's the extent of it. Yeah. The fact that they do this the minute they walk into this cafe bugged the crap out of me because they're just like,
everybody's just kind of, I'm like, read the room, people.
Like, tone it down.
I mean, they're clearly not that into you, so.
You're operating at a 10. I need you to turn it down. While they're doing that, embarrassing themselves in this cafe, the little boy Lucas does wander over to that quaint little, I guess, like, what is it? An outdoor exhibit? It's an exhibit of some kind of like a gnome village. And that's where he meets Tor. And what is it that Tor talks to him about?
Just tells him about barn elves and how they will help you if you treat them well and if you abide by the rules, which are basically, what was it? No bright lights. They don't like change, so no changes.
No loud noises.
No loud noises.
Yeah.
Which I'm already like, because the parents' plan is to turn that into an Airbnb. So he tells him about, give him an offering, give him a treat, and, kind of establish a good rapport, a good working rapport right off the bat.
They do tie in a lot of these folklore elements, Norwegian folklore elements throughout the film. So, I mean, I thought that was cool because I didn't know the thing about the porridge until it comes up later in the movie. And
I never know what porridge actually is.
Well, it is. This was a funny moment in the movie where Tor is telling Lucas about the porridge, and Lucas is like, porridge? And Tor goes, yes, it is a food. And I thought that was fun. I know what porridge is, but I thought this was just a weird element that they pull in for the movie. And then in reading about Norwegian folklore, I'm like, oh, that's legit. You are supposed to leave out a bowl of porridge. So... Well, first of all, Tor is amazed to find out that the lore is true. He's obviously never seen a barn elf before. So to know that, oh, they do exist, it's real. Okay, well, then this is what you got to do. And so he does. This is where he tells Lucas about the porridge. Or I don't know if like I might be that's the next thing I have in my notes. So I might be skipping some key stuff that happened.
He tells him about the porridge and how to, because Lucas knows that you know what has hit the fan, and this is not good because the Christmas decorations have all been shredded. Bill had put up like a big huge inflatable like Santa
motion
sensor activated, so he's like calling out ho 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 ho, and it's obnoxious. And they wake up the next morning and it's all been shredded. Everything's just like strewn all over the front yard. So Lucas knows he's got to be the grown up in the room, and he has to take matters into his own hands. So he consults Tor again about what can I do to make amends with our barn elf. And I don't think Tor believed that it's true. I think that comes later when
he
Lucas
actually
and the dad show up at the end.
Right.
He's still thinking he's just kind of placating. Just kind of going along with Lucas and saying, okay, this is how you do it. You make an offering of porridge, and he tells him what porridge is and how to make it. So
in
Lucas,
very specific way that you have to make it, which I read like is legit. All of that is legit. There is supposed to be a pat of butter in there and all this stuff. I was like, wow.
Is it like cream of wheat? I don't know. Anyway.
Kind of.
So Lucas makes this bowl of porridge, and then he sets it in the refrigerator to make his offering on Christmas Eve. And
this is where Bill, like earlier that night, Bill tries to make a traditional Norwegian. What is it?
Lutefisk. I may not be saying it right, but that's what I heard.
Yeah, a Norwegian dish of fish, and man, I don't
even like seafood. The way Americans
I like
cook
seafood,
it, so
and I
would not be down with that.
I would eat that. I would not eat Bill's. Nothing about that plate looked appetizing. Nobody ate dinner that night because it just was wretched.
So Bill gets the munchies, in the middle of the night, and he goes down to the refrigerator and he eats the porridge, which was
like an ass. Just everything this man does. And so what Lucas is like, that was for the barn elf. What am I going to do now? And he decides, well, let me give this offering of lutefisk to the barn elf. Surely he'll appreciate it. It's a Norwegian traditional dish. And oh man, that was the absolute worst thing.
That was like adding insults to injury.
That was a knife right through the elf's heart. And so from there, it's like, it's on. Now is when we start to see things go awry. And in our last clip, our last mashup for today, we are revisiting our December 9th, 2024 episode dedicated to 2015's Krampus. This was directed by Michael Dougherty and stars Adam Scott and Toni Collette and a bunch of other really cool people, a bunch of other people you'll know and recognize. This was an instant fave for Veronica and I. We loved it. I watched it at least 3 times that month last year. I've already seen it once this month so far. And for those of you who listened to this episode the first time around, you might remember that I was talking to Veronica about how badly I wanted to get my kids to watch this with me. And they were very resistant at the time. But I am here to report to you now, they have watched it, the 2 older ones, that is, and they loved it. They want a Krampus bell. And they don't know this yet, but they're getting one this Christmas, both of them. They're getting their own Krampus bell. This was also the episode where we launched our Patreon. And so if you haven't joined our Patreon, let me tell you a little bit about it real quick. It is free to join. We do have one tier to unlock everything for you. It's a simple $3 tier. But as part of our Patreon, you get 1 video episode per month. You get 1 creepy cocktail hour per month. You get to be part of Don't Watch at Night book club discussion, and you get access to our cocktail recipe cards. Those are sent to you every ahead of every book club episode. I will also tell you that if you're part of our Patreon as of this year, you are getting a special collection of all of our book club cocktail recipe cards in the form of a book, of a thick magazine, if you will. And so that's coming to you in the month of January. It's going to be delivered to you a little bit later than Christmas time, as I would have hoped, but that is coming. Part of being part of our Patreon family also means that you get to be part of polls and opportunities to pitch movies and books to us. We have done episodes already on this show that Patreon people have pitched, and book clubs, book selections as well have been made, kind of modeled off of what Patreon friends have suggested. We do movie watch parties, and Patreon friends always get first access to all of our virtual live shows, our live streams, if you will. We're going to link that for you in show notes. Do join us, be part of the Patreon fam, and enjoy this episode on 2015's Krampus. We wake up, snowstorm has hit, and they're out of power, they're out of heat, all of that stuff. And important to note, because it gets featured throughout the movie, but Max looks out the window and discovers a creepy looking snowman has appeared outside.
A big ass snowman.
Yeah, and I thought there was going to be something to that because it was definitely wasn't a cheerful looking snowman. It looked ominous.
There's no movement outside because truly, I was joking about it being weather-like in the movie The Day After Tomorrow, but it truly is like that level. Snow is covering everything. There's no movement outside. And for some reason, Beth, the daughter, she's been trying to get a hold. She's been texting her boyfriend who hasn't responded. And for some reason, she thinks that this is cause for her to go out in this horrible, nasty blizzard weather to go check on him. And I'm like, why? Why do you have to do this?
And they let her do
and
it.
They let her go. I'm like, why?
I was watching this. I was like, no, don't let her go.
So she sets off in this blizzard weather, and she's walking past house after house. Nobody has power. Everything is completely covered in snow.
And it's kind of getting progressively more dim outside, just sort of looking more abandoned and isolating and things like that.
She's walking along, and I don't remember if she comes up again. Oh, that delivery truck.
The delivery truck guy who had stopped by earlier dropping off packages.
Oh, yeah. He had stopped by the house earlier and to deliver some packages. And then there was like a big bag, like if you would picture Santa Claus's gift bag, it was a big bag like that sitting on the porch. He was not delivering that. That was already there from some other source. And so they take that inside. So anyway, when Beth is out there trudging to her boyfriend's house, she comes across the van, that same delivery guy, except he is frozen to death inside the vehicle.
With a look of fear on his face, like he was just frozen in terror.
Yeah. And so at this point, she starts to hear sounds carried on the wind that are ominous, scary sounding. So does she see it?
She sees
it before she hides under the truck?
because she sees she sees
it's jumping
on the roof.
From roof to roof.
Right,
That's
right. So this is where I was going to ask you, because this is, we see like a shadow of him basically, right? You don't even really see him, but it's him. This is our main event, this Krampus. Yeah. And so I wanted to ask you,
big hulking shape that you just see just jumping like it's nothing from
roof to
roof. Thought it was a cool visual. If I had been her, I would have, because she can't have walked that far in that kind of weather. It's not like she has walked a mile. Turn around and run home.
I got the vibe that her boyfriend was only a couple blocks away. So it's not like she had very far to walk, but
turn around and run home. But no, she hides under the
It is worth noting. It is worth noting and related to, I don't know if much of this movie was filmed in New Zealand at a place called Stone Street Studios. So I don't know if this was filmed on a lot or what, but I thought the visuals were pretty cool. The snow, the wintry wonderland, the Krampus on the rooftops. I thought that was pretty cool. Anyway, you were saying she goes and she hides under a van.
She's hiding under the truck. So then all you see is her ground level view. So she sees hooves, this creature walks up to the truck, and all we see, of course, is what she sees, which are his big hooves, not regular feet, they're hooves. He walks around for a bit, like he's looking for her. She's got her hand covering her mouth so she doesn't try not to make any noise to alert him to her presence.
And he leaves,
and
right?
Then he walks off. And I was expecting for him to rip the van off and expose her. So that didn't happen. So that was
yank her out. Yeah,
yank her out, but that doesn't happen. Instead, all of a sudden she starts hearing a song playing. And she looks, and it's one of those Jack in the Box
little Jack
boxes.
in the Box.
It's it's winding down, it's playing the music, and
but it's
when it's
slow and creepy.
Yeah, it's slowing down because when it stops playing, as it gets slower and slower and eventually stops, that's when the Jack in the Box pops out.
Right.
So then that happens, it stops and it opens, but did we get a good shot of what was in there?
Well, no, because it doesn't pop out. It very slowly lifts out. And so it is a Jack in the Box creature, but it doesn't pop out. It's just very slowly popping out and staring at her all creepy. And then from there, we just get the overhead angle overlooking the van, and we just see the van rocking violently and Beth is screaming. And so that's it.
And I'm thinking, no, there's no way that they would kill the daughter off this early, if at all. There's no way.
Who wasn't even like a bad kid. I was just like,
No,
why not take the jerk cousins who
I know.
humiliated Max?
But so I'm thinking she's got to be alive somewhere for sure. Like she can't be dead.
Do you think, and I mean, like jumping ahead obviously a little bit later, but do you think that Jack in the Box is the one we see again later that is at that point much larger?
So. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's what we see of Beth. And we're just like, well, I guess goodbye, Beth. We don't know yet. So by this point, night is starting to fall, and these parents, Tom and Sam are looking
Sarah.
out. I just want to call her Toni Collette.
Well, her name's Sarah, not Sam.
Yes, Tom and Sam are looking out the
Sarah.
window. What did I say?
You keep
Tom and
Sam.
Sorry. Whatever, Tom and Sarah. I said it again, Tom and Sarah. Okay, looking out the window. And meanwhile, Max is also taking notice of like, we have more snowmen appearing in the yard. And so
they're
at this point,
reproducing
Ron,
back there.
were you thinking, I was thinking these snowmen are actually going to be people. Just watch. It's just like dead people that they're building snowmen around.
I thought at some point they were going to like become animated and be like a snowman army.
Yeah, honestly, nothing ever ends up coming of these snowmen. And yeah, I think that was a missed opportunity. I would have welcomed some killer snowmen into the mix. Their daughter hasn't come back. If it were me, I'd be beside myself. This is like weather that people die in, and they're just like, well, she's a smart girl. I'm like, what?
Oh, I know. I wrote that down. The niece, not the niece, she says this after they come back, I think.
Yeah.
So Tom and Howard, the brother-in-law, they
are going to go out.
They load up, they arm up, because of course Howard is a gun owner. So they go out and they're searching to go look for Beth.
And Grandma's on the edge. She does not like this idea. She wants everyone to stay put. She's obsessed
with remarkably unconcerned about Beth.
The grandma?
Granddaughter.
Yeah, she's just very kind of closed off and aloof, but just ominous throughout the whole movie. She's just ominous, and she's obsessed with like, we need to keep the fireplace going. We need to keep the fire hot, blah, 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 blah. But they want to head out, and they want to go look for Beth. In the process of being out there and on the roads, they see that houses are abandoned, and these are houses that are like in their neighborhood. They seem like they've long been abandoned. Like everything just looked very old and dark out there, and it looked like it had been that way for years and years and years. In their search for clues about what happened to Beth, they walk into one of these abandoned houses. They see evidence of maybe some attacks. They see a stabbed. Do you remember the stabbed gingerbread man?
Mm-hmm. On the fridge.
On the fridge.
Mm-hmm.
And then they rush out because they think they hear a noise or something. There's something in the snow. I don't know what did you label it in your notes? The thing in the snow.
It was like tremors.
It kind of felt like something snakish. Yeah, like there was like
Did
a
you ever
rattling.
see Tremors?
I never saw Tremors.
Well, Tremors was like these big underground worm-like things that just burrowed underground. So you would only ever see the top of the dirt just like ripple as it was like, it moved underground like a fish through water. It was like fast. And so I was like, it's Tremors.
Did you ever, like in Tremors, do you ever see the Tremors or whatever? What are they called? Are they called Tremors?
The characters in the movie just called them graboids.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Graboids.
Oh, graboids. I thought you said grab boys. I was like, what?
No, graboids. Because they would just come up from underground and just like pull you under.
Okay.
So it was kind of it was that.
Yeah. It kind of reminded me of the sandworms in Beetlejuice. I was just like, it's a snow worm. Mm-hmm. You never see it. You just hear it. It's like a rattling sound that it makes. Howard gets attacked by one of these things, and Tom is able to like shoot at it and get it to go off and leave him alone. So they're able to stumble all the way back. They try to go back to Howard's vehicle, and it's been ripped to shreds.
Ripped apart.
It's been destroyed.
Goodbye, Humvee. Oma did also tell them, the only thing she does tell them, and this is where I think she waited too long to divulge the truth. All she really tells them is just don't let the fire burn out.
Right. And
which of course they do.
Which in this moment it does. And so then this is where we start getting creepy little giggly noises happening. And then a gingerbread man comes down attached to a chain that has a hook at the end of it. Max's cousin, the little boy who never even speaks the whole movie. What is his name, Ron?
Howie Jr.
Howie Jr., of course. So Howie Jr. sees the gingerbread man takes the cookie off the hook thinking, ooh, delicious treat.
This is normal.
Takes a bite out of this cookie, and then the gingerbread man comes to life, and the gingerbread attacks him, strings the boy up with a chain, and starts trying to
haul him back up.
Haul the boy up the chimney. And then this is where we have Sarah, Toni Collette, trying to grab onto the boy, pull him back down. The dying fire's embers get launched, scattered onto their holiday tree in the living room, which sets ablaze. So it's just
like Christmas Vacation.
Right. So, I mean, this whole sequence I thought was pretty fun. I don't know about you, but I thought it was.
Well, it was. Everybody's trying to pull him back. It was kind of like a chain. What's that? Monkey chain?
Yeah. This part felt Gremlins. The gingerbread men. What did you think of the gingerbread men?
I like the gingerbread men.
They were pretty funny. They reminded me of Gremlins.
When Howard was battling the gingerbread men.
The family does manage to pull Sarah back down out of the chimney, but the boy is gone. He is gone. And we don't know where he's gone at this point. So at this point, we think, okay, another child has been taken away.
Yeah. One of his sneakers just falls back through the chimney, and that's all that's left of little Howie.
And so now Grandma finally comes out with it. And so you want to take people
Two children
through.
Too late.
Yes.
This is where the movie, I really like this part because it kind of, and I know I thought this first, mind you, before I read any of the reviews that we've posted in the show notes, but I was like, it's like an old Rankin Bass Christmas special. I don't know if it was claymation necessarily, but whatever, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Frosty the Snowman, all those old, as Oma or Omi is recounting what happened to her in the past with this same kind of Krampus. This is where she tells them the story of her experience with Krampus. It's all told in that old, like Rankin Bass style
animation or whatever.
Yeah, animation or clay animation or whatever.
Yeah, I like that sequence too.
And so basically, she said that when she was a girl, she also kind of like Max was wanting to hold on to Christmas, and just all the adults around her, everybody just was being mean and rude. And even in her own family, it wasn't the Christmas like she used to remember. And so she also, I think she had a doll or something, and she broke it or ripped it in half or something. And again, like Max, summoned the spirit of Krampus, who came and basically obliterated her entire village, but left her.
And left her as a reminder, she says, of what happens when hope is
dies.
Lost. Yeah. And when the spirit of Christmas dies. It's now Christmas Eve, December 24th. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house. It was in this point in the movie, Ron, that I wrote in my notes, if you've trauma bonded this long into the story, you should get to live. Because at this point, what we know is these two kids are gone. We don't know where they are, but just like, I feel like these people should get to live. I know that doesn't happen, especially not in like zombie movies. That doesn't happen. Like, it doesn't matter how much trauma bonding you do, you can still die. But at this point in the movie, I was just like, well, I hope everybody makes it. Yeah. And so like at this point in the movie, we're nearly like an hour and a half in, and I wrote, hey man, I think people are dying. So
can't get the snowplow to start.
They can't get it to start. And I thought this was really funny. I thought it was really funny. I wrote this down. So they're in the snowplow. They're desperately trying to get it to start. And Max, who's really flustered, he goes, we have a hybrid.
Yeah, like I can't drive this. We have a hybrid.
I know. I was like, these are small children. They can't do crap.
Krampus's minions, or I don't know if you call them elves or whatever, break through. They drag Stevie out. Now it's just Max.
Literally just Max.
But he jumps down. He can still hear Stevie
somewhere. Yeah,
somewhere, and the voice carried in the wind. And he comes across where Krampus is with his minions, and they've got Stevie there. This is where he starts to plead, basically, for, I guess, Krampus's mercy, and is telling him, like, you can fix this. I know you can fix this. I want my family back.
Take me instead.
Yeah. They, like, the ground erupts and kind of basically forms almost like a little volcano or
fiery
fire pit, something. And they're on the verge of tossing Stevie into this. And so for a minute, Krampus stops and uses one of his claws.
You almost think he's moved by Max.
And I was thinking, because one of the things that his Omi was telling, the Christmas spirit and sacrifice in the giving. And so I'm thinking, well, maybe this is what he has to do in order to reverse everything, is if he's willing to sacrifice himself for everybody else, then maybe this is what will correct everything, so to speak. Right. And so we really think for a minute that this is going to work. Krampus is going to accept his sacrifice. Well, no, they chuck Stevie in there anyway.
He laughs in his face and he's like, bye.
And then throw Max in behind him.
Only for us to fade to white. And then suddenly we're back in Max's bedroom and it's morning. And we come to realize it was all a dream. Max wakes up. He comes downstairs. All of the family is back there. They're like, oh, we were waiting for you. Yeah, you're finally awake. Let's do Christmas. Let's open presents. And he's just like, oh my God, everyone's alive. Everyone's there. They're all accounted for. We made it. And he's hugging his parents. He's just like, you've got Sarah being like, oh, what's this for? And he goes, I'm just so happy to be together at Christmas, blah, blah, blah. They start handing out presents and Max opens up his present. And inside is the same little Krampus Christmas bell that Krampus had tried to give him initially. Because where Max first encounters Krampus out there in the wilderness, what am I trying to say? Winter Wonderland wilderness, good grief. Krampus chucks Max's old Christmas letter at his feet, and wrapped up in his old Christmas letter is the Krampus bell. He chucked it back at Krampus's feet when he found them and tried to plead for his family back. He was like, give me back my family, you asshole, or something like that.
Yeah.
And so to see it showing up in this little box, the second he opens it, he looks terrified, and everyone else's expressions around him looked equally terrified. What did you make of that?
I wanted everybody to remember that this happened, because if it's only Max that remembers that all of this happened, then there's no motivation for anybody to
change,
to continue the steps towards change that were happening, as they were all were being forced to rely on each other and trust each other to survive. So if nobody remembers any of that, then it's not going to be any good. So I interpreted that to mean, because while that's happening, as you hear things being repeated that were said during the movie by different characters. And so I took that to mean, and all their kind of puzzled looks, is that once Max sees Krampus's little chime bell, is that kind of triggered them to start remembering.
Oh, yes.
That's what happened. And
yeah.
And because that's the only way it would work. Or that would be the only satisfactory ending for me, is if they all remember and learn from it. Yeah.
So then we zoom out from that scene, and what do we see, Ron?
They're all in a snow globe, and just a snow globe that Krampus then puts on a shelf, and the room is full of shells with snow globes. So he's basically like Santa Claus, watching over all of us.
Yeah.
You really don't want to be on the naughty list.
Okay, and that will wrap it up for us today, friends. We want to wish you a wonderful holiday season. Veronica and I wish you a peaceful new year. We have a lot of exciting things coming in 2026, so we can't wait to share that with you. As always, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Don't Watch at Night is a Nest production hosted by me, Veronica, and Valerie. Editing by Valerie. Music by Omar Chakor. Production support for this episode provided by Lorenzo Villarreal and Alex Street. Listen to new episodes of Don't Watch at Night every other Monday, and don't forget to give us a rate and review. It's the best way to help us grow.